Hey there, guys. Welcome to the Boru Podcast.
Hello.
Hope you guys are doing well and having a great weekend. Today's topic is going to be about life and
Us.
life and goals,
Life and goals.
or goals in life.
How they've changed over the years.
Yeah, I think that it's now with the technology and stuff like that. I think there's more options to for people that wants careers and stuff like that. And I mean, before it was just more like when I was growing up, when I was about 13, I wanted to be a police officer,
Yeah.
and but but as I got older, I wanted to write. That's all I mean, once I hit after 20, I didn't know what I wanted to do, what goals I wanted to achieve. I'm like, I didn't achieve any in school or anything like that. One thing that I was good at was the woodwork,
Yeah.
and it was pretty good, and but I never really pursued that, and
Well, not until you got older when you started painting.
yeah, I did some. Well, when I was living in Ireland back in the '90s, I studied shades and with charcoal, and then I went towards oil pastels. Like different types of colors and stuff like
Yeah.
that. People were pretty much amazed at that, but I never really had like an actual goal that I wanted to achieve as a career. Because I had like different types of jobs, and yeah, so.
Well, I always,
But
I had, I don't know. When I was a kid, I used to like Gladys Knight and the Pips, and I told everybody I wanted to be a pimp, and everybody thought I said pimp. So, but anyway, I never wanted to be a pimp. I wanted to be a pimp. But anyway, so
a pip rather than a pimp.
yeah. So I was very artistic and creative. I did macrame and I did drawings and etchings and that kind of stuff. And then, um, you know, when I was in high school, I was a DJ on the radio station, so that was kind of one of my goals to be involved with music. I fortunately have no rhythm, no voice, no talent, can't play piano, can't keep a beat, so I chose to go with DJs, and so I did achieve that goal. I did that in the bars. But,
Yeah.
another one of my goals was, I basically just wanted to party, have a good time, and I grew up in a small town, and so moved to Las Vegas, and then eventually to L.A. so where I could be in the warmth of the beach and party and and deal with my sexuality and stuff, and so
See, I never really I mean, I never really went out growing up. I didn't kind of like pursue that. I was more like when I was in my teenage years. I was actually writing. I was writing short stories when I was in junior high, which I think they now call it middle school.
yeah.
And yeah, so that's all I've been doing was the short stories, and then I all of a sudden it kind of like stopped. After I left, I think it stopped after I went to into high school, because I guess because I was older, and I just eventually stopped. And I wanted to do some acting, but I was a bit more shy,
Yeah.
and it didn't really hit me until I was actually in Northern Ireland back in 95, 94, 95. I pursued the acting, and I achieved that goal, but I never really went forward because I still had that shyness in me,
Yeah.
and but and then I don't know, I just got this fear of going to auditions and stuff like that, and being competitive towards other people.
Yeah.
And I just kind of felt like, well, they must be more experienced than I have, even though that I haven't. Um, I don't know them. You know, I who do I know that would know that experience? You know, around the group that was auditioning. You know.
Yeah, but what I used
Mm.
to try to do is in circumstances like that would be to pretend to be somebody else, you know.
And that's what's great with Halloween and stuff. You get to become someone
Yeah.
else. You know, but that's the Halloween topic. But yeah, the with the goals, you know, I think that they say that if you know with your goals, you know, it can't be broken, but I think it can be. You know, if you don't really pursue them.
Well, I had the opposite problem. I wanted to travel and see the world, and I wanted to be a cook, and so I lived in Hawaii for a while, and then I traveled around Europe a couple times, and then I kind of achieved all my goals by the time I was 40, and I got really depressed because I had done everything I wanted, and I felt that because I wanted to live over in Europe, and I was a little depressed that I couldn't. And so I had, after a couple months of this, I realized I needed to set new goals. And so, I set new goals and trying to achieve those. And, one of them was finding getting into a good balanced relationship. And so I
Mm.
got that with Brian. And then, you know, I
I think it's good, you know, to have like you know set new goals, you know, because I believe that it kind of like helps us grow,
yeah.
you know, and if that goal doesn't get accomplished, you know, I mean, there's other directions um, that you can go for.
Well, the other thing to look at it is that when you set goal, for me it was, you know, what 40 years ago, my goal, the world has changed, technology has changed, the world has changed, everything else, and so
Mm, yeah.
your goals aren't going to be the same than what you did then, and I think that's all a part of life is you can either continue to make goals or you can continue down one path and be depressed and unhappy. I'm the type of person that I like to keep thinking about going out and doing new things and trying new food or something or other. And so I don't. I try to keep resetting goals, as I go along and try to see the future as bright, even though it's not always bright.
When
but
you,
but it is a nice bright day
mm,
in Ireland today.
yeah, the leaves are actually changing.
Yeah,
Um,
which is one of my favorite times of year.
when you went traveling around Europe, you know, did you try like different types of foods? You
Yeah,
know, that was kind of like, wow, I never tasted that before.
yeah, and experienced a lot of things, and it was kind of fun. That was another one of my goals because I kind of wanted to be like a gypsy vagabond, just kind of stay here for a couple days and move on, stay here, and it was exciting to if I just wanted to go, I could just hop on the train and go somewhere else, exciting and new. When I first
Mm,
landed in Amsterdam, though, it was kind of like, what did I do? I had no plans as far as I couldn't understand north, south, west, or which streets and how to find my hotel. And then
mm,
once I got my confidence up, I was very good at navigating around. And it was, I didn't really go to college. I went to culinary school, so to me, traveling around and going to the museums and seeing all the beautiful churches and all the landmarks and stuff was a form of education. Made me understand a lot more about
The history.
world
The word.
and history. And also, knowing me, it was a good excuse to party. Hey, so I had some good times, and there's something to be said for anonymity of being lost in where no one knows you, or kind of like L.A. was like that. It was so big, and New York City is like that, where you can walk down the street and the odds are you're not going to run into anybody that often, or
Because it's just that big.
so you don't have to worry about people judging you or anything else, or so yeah, it was a good time. But I eventually Brian wanted to come back, which was always one of my goals, to live over in Europe. So I achieved that one, although we've had some challenges, but it is working, and that's good. It's hard. When you say it's hard, when you're going to be 50. I'm almost 60. It's hard changing, getting rid of everything and moving
And
overseas and
just starting
completely
fresh.
starting over. For the first year, it seemed like we were camping. I mean, we didn't have pots and pans. We didn't, we had to go out and rebuy everything. And you don't realize, when we left the States and sold everything, that how much stuff I had collected, and when we got over here, and how when I go to make a cake or something, there's no mixer or
No
cake
mixer
pans
anymore.
or that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
or even a large bowl to mix it in. So that's kind of interesting, but fun also. It's starting over can be fun and rejuvenating. And for me, I don't know about you, but it was like
Yeah, I mean, like
it was really nice to let go of the past and move on to a future.
yeah, just to start fresh.
Yeah.
I like to start fresh every once in a while.
Yeah, me too. I've done that several times.
But it's just starting over with the apartments. Like you said, it's I don't know. I guess it could be overwhelming, and
Well, it's not
but
just the apartments. It's in a different country.
yeah,
Yeah.
and luckily that these apartments that are leased through the leasing agents through the landlords, they're all furnished,
Or basic furniture. Yeah.
basic furniture, and you could I guess you could have that choice, either you want the furniture out and you want your own furniture, but that's a good thing that this helps us build up little by little
Yeah.
with the furniture, because this ain't our furniture. So
Yeah. Which we are probably going to be looking at relocating again, because the town we're in is just it has no. It's nice. I like it. It's pretty. We're on top of a hill, but there's no opportunities. It's small, and there's no.
it's a small
There's nothing to
town.
do. There's no opportunities for enjoyment. There's no public transportation. So so that's going to be another fun thing. And but
Yeah, I mean, like
that's life.
I mean, we're always taking cabs and
Yeah.
everywhere, and so yeah.
So life is all about change and setting new goals.
Yeah, but like it's like how everybody is going through I guess the transition of the New Year's. They think resolutions, and those could be broken. And as I always say, well, if you change it to goals, it doesn't have to be broken. But come to think of it, it can be broken.
Well, anything can be changed, but
You know,
I have a different perspective. live my life as constantly changing and trying to improve myself. So why try to fool myself that on January 1st I'm going to make all these grandiose changes in my life that really aren't going to happen? So you should make goals and try to achieve these things 24/7 all year long versus just one day and then on January 2nd say, "Ah, fuck it. I'm not going to do that
Exactly.
anyway."
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
it's kind of stupid.
I mean that's like with my mother. You know how they have that what's that Lent
Yeah.
during around Easter time, and what is it, 10 days?
No, it's longer
Ten.
than that.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure. I'm not
I can't remember
Catholic,
that.
but
I can't
I'm
remember
married
the.
into the Catholic family. I don't fully know all the little fine details, but I know what it is. Is what do you give up something
You give up
that
within
you
the Lent.
enjoy?
Hmm.
Yeah,
And but I think that if you give up something, during Lent, I think the way I see it, you might as well
keep doing it. Yeah,
continue it off. Like my mother gave up sugar, chocolates,
yeah.
and sweets during Lent.
And then gorgeous
And
at
gorge.
midnight. At midnight when it's over.
The struck of midnight, when Lent is over.
Yeah. Well, I had a few Catholic friends that they told me Lent was easy because they just gave up beets and they really didn't like beets, so it wasn't a problem. But but then again, I guess that's not the point, is it? That's cheating. But speaking of beets, and another thing in life that is interesting, and it sort of goes with goals, but not really. When you're younger, there's certain foods and things that you just hate. Like I hated avocados and I hated beets and I hated this and I hated that. And I actually, as I get older and I've discovered new ways of cooking them and retrying them, I actually like them. Especially beet juice and with carrot juice and stuff. And avocados, I like avocados. It's the texture, but you can work around that too by adding things to it. But
I should try an avocado again because from what I remember of the last time I had an avocado, which was many years ago, I just thought that there really wasn't any taste to it.
Well,
from what I remember.
It wasn't the taste; it's that texture. It's that mushy, kind of slimy texture. Yeah, but
I think that kind of like turned it off.
Yeah, yeah, but
I mean, the whole family they love avocado.
But I've actually had avocado ice cream, and there's various other things because you can add flavor to it, and the texture actually works there. But I guess my point being is that in life you need to keep trying new things, and just because you didn't enjoy something 20 years ago doesn't mean you should try it again because you're in a different place and you might enjoy doing it now. Like country music. I hated country music growing up because of that constant that shit kickers beat, and it was always depressing. But
down,
yeah, exactly. And my girlfriend screwed Bill, and then this and that. But as I get older, it's I can see the actual humor in it. And it's kind of fun. Like I'm always running around. Me and Brian are always singing that song, "Hello, balls." I mean walls.
Hello, walls.
Or something. But anyway, that's just kind of like the way I try to not be judgmental, because in my youth I was judgmental, and I think a lot of people are judgmental in their youth. It's like, ooh, I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do that, but. You shouldn't be judgmental. You should always be open to eating other things. That doesn't mean I'm going to eat chocolate-covered grasshoppers anytime soon. But I've heard they're kind of not that bad. But yeah. I had a Filipino friend that used to fry up fish heads, and I used to eat those because they're when they're really crispy. There's no flavor or mush into them. So you never know. I might eat chocolate-covered grasshoppers. You never know.
I've had. I mean, like I'm having I don't know. I guess you could say some different goals right now. I mean, the podcasting once a
Yeah,
week that I would like to pursue. I want to keep it at the one time and the one day. But
yeah,
if we miss the Saturday at 5, I mean, like today, we're doing it early on Sunday. So, yeah, at least we done the weekend
yeah,
podcast. And I think the other one is the writing as well. I
yeah.
wanted to do more writing, but it's the procrastinating, that gets in the way. Um, so I must set down goals as in times and days when I'm going to start that writing. Um, um, what's that word? Brain. I mean, sometimes I get writer's block and I just put it to the side. And
Yeah.
but yeah.
I tried writing, and I'm actually very good at it. One of my favorite authors is Anne Rice, and if you either love her or you hate her, but she writes in fine detail. Like she'll spend 10 pages writing about how the wheel spins and the pattern and the on the road and the shadows and all that kind of stuff. And so when I write, I kind of get mundane and get caught up into fine detail, which is good. But you can also be obsessive compulsive about detail,
Mm,
and so I and that's also a part of my personality. I analyze everything, every aspect of anything, and so
yeah.
it's hard. But one of my goals is, and I know, even if nobody watched it or listened to it, it would still be fun to do. I would like to do, since they do these internet radio programs now, I would like to play music and stuff, and like like I used to. But
I used
I
to do.
really
Yeah.
need to. I need to understand these computer mixing
Yeah.
programs, because when I used to do it, you did it with boards and on records and things like that. So but that would be something that I do. And to me, it doesn't matter if anybody listens to it or not. It's creative and getting back into what I enjoy doing. And who knows, people may follow. Maybe I'll get the whole original cast of The Wizard of Oz to follow me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the Munchkins.
Yeah. Lonely Dark Hill.
Yeah, I mean, like I used to do the blog talk radio. Like as you know, like back in I think it was like 2011 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could add music to it, and you could do your little talk show, and you could do it within, just 30 minutes, or you could do it within an hour. So they give you that option: 15, 30, or an hour. That's what it is.
Well, the reason I enjoyed being a DJ, especially in the club, I actually worked in a country western bar playing music, which is kind of ironic, because that's when I started to appreciate country music a little bit more, when I started dwelling it. But I've done the dance and all kinds of stuff. But to me, the reason I enjoy doing it is because you can control the whole mood of the crowd by the music you're playing, whether it's nostalgia or the beat. Or but I was always taught that when you're playing music, you need to go along with the high and then the low, and keep it in a rhythm which controls the mood. If you're playing crappy music, then everybody leaves the bar.
Mm,
So
yeah.
that's different. For doing it online, but I can still have fun and do that.
I think that's the main thing is that you get more fun out of it,
Yeah,
whether the people listen to it or not.
doesn't matter. We were
It's
working
something that
on
you
a
enjoy doing.
we were working on a cookbook for a while in Maine. Remember that?
What's it mean?
Or video cookbook type thing. And the problem I was having with it is I went to culinary school, and and I understand the basic sauces and methods and all that other stuff, but I'm not a precise cook. I dump and pour, and most cooks do because depending on the flavor of your tomatoes, you're going to add sugar or not, or vinegar, or you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So when you're writing a book or recipes, it's hard to give a definitive measurement for for your cooking because a lot of people don't understand the concept of seasoning to taste, or and the key to a lot of things is that some people like things salty, some people like things hot. You need to present things that have good flavor, but if they want to add the salt, they can, or the extra pepper, or whatever. So we ran into problems on that. Plus, I got to the point where I couldn't stand up. you know.
Was
So,
it around that time?
Yeah, it's about that time. So, but we had fun doing it. What did I make? I made.
Oh, there was a video that I made.
Yeah, there was some dish I made that it was fun that we used to enjoy. But it was fun. It was
I mean,
fun.
I enjoy the working on the website because it's like another one of my goals that which I really like to do for fun. I don't do it professionally.
But see, some people do it for fun, and some people do it for money. And to me, it's fun. But if you make money along the way, hey, that's grand. So but
Hey, yeah, more power to them.
But that's the whole point of goals and keeping yourself busy, because the older you get, I'm still a kid. I stopped being a kid last week. Now I'm an adolescent, so I got to grow up. But you got to you can't sit still, because if your mind goes idle, you actually lose control of your mind. In other words, that's when you start getting senile, or you get forgetfulness, and your mind is a muscle. You've got to use it. So that's why goals are very important in life.
Yeah.
And I was immobile for a couple of years. I had trouble walking, so I sat a lot, and that's one thing I learned, that you've got to keep active mentally as much as you can. So goals are very important. Even if your goal is just to get out and walk to the corner store versus driving the car that 2 blocks, get out and walk, then you should do that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I think that should be our next goal, is to get a vehicle, because
well, you got to learn to drive on the wrong side of the road
because
without
you're
falling off the earth.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point where I don't freak out anymore when the cab drivers are pulling onto the other side. It's like I'm like, oh no, we're gonna hit a car. The hardest part I had was in life. For all my life, I was used to look when you're at the crosswalk, learning to look the other direction, because the cars are coming from the other direction. Here they're coming from the other direction, so I had to retrain myself that old rule. Look both ways before you cross the street.
Yeah, I've I'm just afraid of forgetting that I'm on the wrong side of the road. And in reality, for the people in Ireland, they said, no, we are the right side of the road.
They, Ireland and the UK, I believe, and Australia are one of the few that are on the wrong side of the road.
Australia as well?
I believe so, yeah, because it's owned by the UK, but I believe so.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But as I always say, and I hear all the time, Google it.
Exactly, yeah. I mean,
find out that information,
Then you can achieve that goal.
Yeah. If your goal for the day is to have yourself a good shot of expensive whiskey, then do that. Just don't have 40 of them,
No, me, I would have all 40.
I got I got closed caption video. I'm saving for Christmas.
There's like a hidden There's a hidden camera up there at the corner.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, it won't. Yeah. So we got so anyway, that's probably a good start for goals, and I think next time if you have any suggestions, you know, I think a good topic for I have a friend in Belfast that just did his dissertation, if I'm saying it right, for college about youth and being bullied on the internet between gays and lesbian and transgender youth. But it's true of everything. So I think that would be a good topic one of these days. And
for our podcasting.
Yeah, and various other things. But just in life, it doesn't necessarily have to be about gays and lesbians. It could be about everybody in life. Everybody can be bullied on the internet. I know I'm bullied a lot because of my looks. On the internet, and some people like my looks and some people don't, which is the way of the world. It's fine, but you don't have to put somebody down just because they don't look the way that you want. Now, but anyway, that's another topic in the future. And one would be, why the hell is UK Netflix so boring compared to the US? Why did they change it a couple years ago? Nothing good is on Netflix in the UK.
Tune in next time with our podcast.
Our podcast. We got plenty of good topics. Lighting a fire in the fireplace is going to stay. It's another one. Anyway, we're just kidding, sort of. Well, anyway, it's been fun talking to y'all.
This was a good topic that we've done. Something that I would never have thought about, but yeah. So anyways, thank you guys for listening in. If you want to write to us, you could write us to the Boru Podcast at gmail.com. Of course, that's all in one word. And we'll get back to you as soon, as possible, within 48 hours for your response. So you guys take care and enjoy the rest of the week.
Okay, cheers.
Or the start of the week.
All the best. Wee wee.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye.